Good. We good for in person?
Sorry, yes.
Eric, probably had arguably your best first half of the season, followed by arguably the worst.
No arguably about it.
Second half of the season. What worked so well in that first 20 minutes and what completely changed in the second?
Everything worked first half. I mean, you can see again what our offense is capable of looking like. We moved the ball, we set good screens. We didn't get up against the shot clock. We defended well, we didn't foul. And we, I think we had 8 turnovers at the half. So not amazing, but certainly not like the second half.
Did all of that go on?
Yes. Yes, it did. We fouled early in both quarters. We had casual turnovers left, right, and center. Backcourt turnovers, like, in the backcourt off of rebounds, casual entry passes. Stop moving the ball the way we should. Seattle, to their credit, makes some adjustments and they're well coached and they're going to stay in the game, especially on an emotional day like today. But that's no excuse for some of the things we did. I mean, we finished the game with 21 turnovers, which on the road you just can't do.
That's what I was going to ask. They picked up their energy clearly in that second half.
To be expected. Yep, to be expected.
How come you guys ran up against the shot clock so many times?
We lost our pace in the half court as well as the full court. As they scored more, we did not get into our stuff. We didn't run it back at them the way we'd like to. They picked up their pressure full court. We're running blind down the court and leaving our point guard to play one-on-one against pressure. We're defaulting to just pick and roll after pick and roll against switching and unders. That's not how we played when we were playing well. And so the positive is we held our nerve well again down the stretch and played a good last, whatever it was, 3 minutes. Some people stepped up and made some plays. And it's not an easy place to go, especially when there's, whatever there was, 13,000 and they're feeling the momentum of the game. And I thought we held our poise well and played really good defense the last few possessions. But we should never have been in that spot.
Last one, maybe a little worked so well. Natasha, she came out really aggressive and it seemed like, kind of found a groove and shots started falling also.
Yeah, she shot it with confidence. I thought her balance on her shot looked really good. And, she got a history of sometimes taking a few games just to get her game rhythm back in terms of her shooting. But I thought she just made simple, decisive plays, threw it to the roller when the roller was open, threw it to the one fill in behind when that was the right read, and was aggressive when it was her turn to shoot. So, that's the hardest balance for point guards. And I think she did a good job of doing all of the above. Yep. Hanging on. Could be worse.
I think you got it. Todd kind of told me last year the speech in the locker room when she came out here superb to her point guard. But these 2 games meant something to her. Could you just see the fire in her eyes for this first 2 legs road trip?
The fire that we're accustomed to with Tosh. What I really like right now with Tosh is, in addition to the fire, I'm seeing a lot of poise. And I think that's the thing that if she can do both all the time, we're going to be in great shape, because that's what leadership is. And so I see, maybe a moment of frustration with the refs, deservedly, or her being upset because we're not playing with the force that we need to play with. But then I see her also reorganize the group, play smart with 5 fouls, connect with me. So I see all those pieces, which is, that's what we need from our point guard. And I'm really happy with where she's at.
Of course, the game of basketball highs and lows, positives and negatives. But again, when you're holding teams to 65 points, we know, like you said, the offense in that first half. How encouraging is it knowing that when you can hold a team to 65 points, a game is always within 4 wins?
It is, but when you got a team at 21 at halftime, I'm not that excited about 65 points.
And then last one for you, who was the hard cup recipient?
Natasha Cloud.
Appreciate you.
We'll start with Tyler.
Hey, Coach, I know these 2 wins weren't necessarily how you would have loved to draw it up. But I mean, at the end of the day, you go to Seattle, you get 2 victories, one of them's out without Elena. I mean, you take that if you are going into the weekend. So what do you think being able to win in this type of manner would be team at this point in the season?
Cut out for a second, but I think I got the question. No, it's good. I mean, it's not easy to come in here and win 2 games. I don't think Seattle's about to go 1-19 at home, so they're going to beat some teams that come in here. Especially when, you know, the ball is rolling downhill at us like it was in the second half, to stand up and make some plays at both ends of the court. I mean, they're huge ones. We got a chance to have a great trip now going into Tuesday, if we can get all 3. And early season road wins, no matter the form or fashion, we'll take them all.
And then I saw Christy didn't play. Is there anything else going on there? Is there another rest day for her?
No, honestly, we were, you know, the plan was to play her, and we just were rolling so well in the first half. I just didn't feel like changing up the rotation. Mung and Shatori came in and gave us such good minutes all game long. And honestly, once I didn't kind of play her in the first half, I didn't feel like putting her in there after she had been, you know, sitting for that long. And, you know, now we can get her fresh on Tuesday night.
Perfect. Thanks, Coach. Safe travels.
Thanks.
Jen.
Hey, Eric, just curious what you thought of Tianna stepping into the starting lineup and what she kind of gave you.
Tianna was good. She followed a great game plan defensively. You know, they changed their lineup too, and so she had a little bit more of a like-size matchup with Jordan Horston, but she did a good job being in the right positions defensively. I thought what I was most happy with Tianna in the last 2 or 3 minutes, we ran an action, you know, a couple times, and we didn't get our first look, and it kind of put her in the position to play the next one, and she kept us moving. I just thought it was great poise from a vet in that situation of, you know, not feeling the clock pressure, not feeling the crowd pressure. Let me just go play one more action.
And then, you know, this game seemingly had everything in it, and I'm curious what you can take from what you saw today going forward for, you know, when you do get Elena back. Like, what from this do you think might be helpful going forward?
I think all these early season games, you're taking good, you're taking bad. Again, trying to paint the picture of how we can play and what we can play like. And also some very obvious areas that need improvement. And sometimes the areas that need improvement, you can only replicate in game situations. You know, that feeling like you're up against the clock and the crowd's on top of you, and maybe you're not getting the calls you think you should get, and the team's making a run. You know, it's hard to replicate in that in practice. So these experiences, you know, later down the road, you can draw on these moments of, hey, we can still hold it together and come out, you know, whether we're behind or ahead. We've been in both situations this year, and we found ways to win.
And last thing for me, Tosh was telling Holly Rowe on TV after the game that she feels like the team is getting better every game. And I'm curious, like, what you look for to evaluate that when you guys have kind of been like up and down in terms of like going on runs and giving up runs. Like, how do you look at improvement game to game?
I think, you know, especially when you play a team 2 times in a row, is can you carry out the adjustments you want to make on that in-between day? That's specifically for this weekend. And I thought we did a good job. I know Ezzy ended up getting going a little bit in the second half, but I thought we came out really good focus on not letting her see as much easy stuff. I thought we did a good job on Jewel for the most part. You know, she ends up at 16 still, but we made her work. And I thought, you know, for 2 quarters, we did a lot of the things we really want to see offensively. And we got it from everybody who played minutes. And, you know, our memory's got to be a little bit better about what's successful for us. But as you go through the experiences, you can get, you know, your habits can get better. Your mentality can get better, and you can sustain better.
Thank you.
That's it. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
What worked out so well in that first half from your perspective? Everybody seemed to be clicking.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is we came out pretty aggressive offensively, just getting side to side with the ball and also pushing transition. Defensively, we did a good job with stopping them with one shots only, and just attacking the boards in the first half.
For yourself, late lineup change, you're bumped up. What's your kind of mentality is, okay, now you're gonna be, start to.
Yeah, what he said. No, it's just about just being ready. I mean, I'm not thinking of anything outside of the ordinary, just to play within myself and just do the things that I've been doing, all season long and all throughout my career. And not trying to be a superhero, just, make sure I run the floor hard, make sure I get on the boards, just be wherever my team needs me.
What are the conversations as, you knew, teams always make their run, pretty big run.
Yeah, it's a huge run.
What are you guys talking about amongst yourselves about trying to kind of get back into that group that you guys have in the first?
Well, the biggest thing is to stay together first, and just get back to the basics and what we know, and just remember what we do best. We're real good, as a team defensively, and just being able to find the better shot on offense and just keep the ball moving. We had a lockdown late in the game. It's just get some big stops. And we were successful with that, but it's just a situation where we knew that Seattle's gonna come out aggressive. They're a young and talented team. They're never out of the game.
And just one last thing, we keep talking about the lulls and the stretches. You guys have really good stretches, and then it kind of disappears for a while. How do you find that consistency?
You said it. We just got to be consistent. The same approach that we had in the first half, we have to have it in the second half. I would say that we may have a few of us may have gotten a little lax, but that's something that we can't really do, down the stretch. But the biggest thing, like you said, is just be consistent on both ends of the floor.
Thank you.
Hey, how are you?
It's no secret about what happened here last year. I think, and even Tasha said she really wanted these 2 games. Sweeping that, what do these 2 wins mean as a team for the Vinci going forward?
It feels good. We got our first 2 wins in the new arena. But no, it feels good. This is a tough road trip. It's been a test. And it just feels good to be able to get the first 2. We got to take care of business in Indiana.
Just saying present with being here. You talked about the bench being happy, the starters, but when you were announced to come in and all throughout, the team was just so happy for you. How does that make you feel more comfortable out there knowing that your sister had your back?
It feels good. It feels good to know that other people believe in myself in addition to myself. But no, that's just what this team is about. That's the culture here. Just being happy for everyone else and just want everyone to succeed.
And last for you, do you have like a favorite play from today or like a favorite possession that that is still with you?
And now I'm still, my adrenaline is still high. I'm just happy we got the win, to be honest. All right.
We'll go to Zoom. Jen?
Hey, TT, congrats on the win.
Thanks.
This might be a little hard to answer because, this all just happened, but this game seemingly had everything in it, all sorts of runs and everything. Is there something you feel like you guys can take from this game that will help you when you do get Elena back in, like continuing the improvements that you're trying to make?
We have to go back and watch the film, but the biggest thing is the way we started today is probably what we want to do moving forward, and just find ways to sustain that for the whole 40 minutes. We did a good job in the first half, but the second half was a little tough. I think they went on a 17-0 run. That's something that we can't allow to happen. But we did pretty good with stopping them down the stretch.
And then, Elena's talked about how she's, been more of a vocal leader this year, and just curious, like what her kind of presence was on the bench today, what sorts of things she was telling you guys.
She's been great. She's been great, telling us where we need to be and giving us, some tips and tricks on how to get our screening angles better, and just, time and score situations, and just being able to instill some confidence in us, just knowing that she wasn't out there with us.
Last thing, seeing Tosh go off for 19 points and 4 threes, what is that like for you, seeing her?
Well, she said she was a shooter, but no, it's good to see her shot falling, and her attacking. That's great for us. Tosh is doing what Tosh does, and she was really good for us tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's it. Thanks, TT.
We're gonna do Zoom first because I would be at Sue's thing too. Kareem's in here.
Okay, we'll start with Zoom then. So does anyone have any questions for Jen?
Hey Tosh, how are you?
Hey Jen, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. It seemed like you were maybe a little extra fired up today. I don't know if that's Elena being out or playing in Seattle or a number of things, but can you talk us through kind of your mindset today and how you kind of carried that through late in the game when Seattle made its big run?
Yeah, obviously, I know that I have to be more aggressive when Elena is out of games. I feel like I've really been in the facilitator role for our offense as we're trying to figure out our chemistry. But on a day like today where we're missing 20 points, that means other people have to step up. So I knew my mindset was going to be aggressive, but I love these type of atmospheres too. As much as this is Sioux Day, I think that we're very blessed to be able. I know a lot of teams like to have like big days on our games for some certain reason, but especially here to celebrate Sue, who's been such a pivotal person in my career and helping me kind of mold myself into the point guard that I am. I took all of that and I really just was where my feet are today. And how can you not play and be hyped for a game in front of 15,000 fans? That's really cool. So we were ready. We just have to be better down the stretch. And clearly that's been kind of the brink of our early season. We start well, but third quarter, second half, we have to be able to sustain and finish.
And, picking up on that, like not just today, but in general, when you're facing these tight games down the stretch that you guys have mostly been pulling out lately, what's been the difference maker in being able to kind of gut out those tight ones?
Our poise, I think down the stretch, regardless of how bad it looks, everyone was very calm. We were very poised. We knew what actions we wanted to get to. Did we execute them as well? We should have, no. But when it came down to it, our defense is what held us down. Slim came up with 2 huge stops on Jewel to end the game. And so when things aren't going well for us offensively, our defense continues to be our answer. And I'm really proud of that. That's huge when you're talking about just solidifying games.
And last thing for me, I was listening to your interview with Holly on TV at the end of the game. And you were talking about how the team's getting better every game. And I'm curious how you kind of evaluate that, given that you guys have kind of gone on runs and given up runs and been a little bit up and down, what do you see as far as this is how we've improved game to game?
We played 2 full quarters today of really good basketball on both ends of the floor. Before we would play a quarter and a half. Or before that, it was about a quarter that we were playing really well in. So we're putting more positive minutes together on the floor right now. And so the next part of it is, okay, we have the first half figured out. Now, how do we transition that to the second half of the game? So all of this is progressions that the average fan that might just be talking shit at this point, there is wins within wins. So we're just going to continue to build. We understand that it's kind of left foot, right foot, breathe, and just continuing to move forward. But I think just being intentional. But I think the biggest jump that we've had is playing consistently. Our offense is looking better for longer spurts. That's what I mean by we're getting better.
Awesome. Thank you, Tosh.
Thank you, Jen.
Hey, kind of building right off the kind of led right into what I was going to ask. I was going to ask about consistency.
Yeah.
How does the team kind of work on that consistency? Is that something that just has to build over the course of the season because you can't replicate? Eric was talking about not being able to replicate a lot of stuff during practice.
Well, we don't even have practices for a full month. So when people and this is what is frustrating, especially from our fan bases, y'all got to stay with us because we had 2 weeks of training camp to prepare for a season. And ever since then, it's been 3 games in 5 weeks, a back-to-back, another 3 games in 5 weeks. We don't have time to practice. So when you're talking about how do we get better, we challenge ourselves with our focus, right? That's something that this team, we love each other. We get along really well, but we need to focus in those moments and be able to be consistent throughout the game of, okay, our intentionality, our focus, we know what we want to run, we know what we want to execute. If something's working, we don't go away from it, we stay consistent on it. But it is really hard when you are not having practices to even address things. So when you're talking about how do we progress, it is from our games. We have to continuously get better in live game action. And that's really hard to demand of a team when you're not having practice. So we're going to continue to get better. I'm really proud of where we are now from where we were at the start of the season. After that New York game, we're a completely different team and we're getting better. So that's all we can really ask of ourselves and of this organization.
Is it, I mean, I know it's a positive, but what's it say about you that even in, not just you, but the team, that even in these rough stretches, when you lose your focus, when things aren't going well, like you said, you can always lean on the defense, and you guys have been able to figure things out even when things aren't.
It's actually relieving. Because I think if we didn't have either working, then we would be totally like shit out of luck. But we know that our defense is our anchor and we can really play well with playing defense first and allowing our defense to bring our offense. But we really are focused on making our offense just as strong as our defense. We're number one in the league defense, and I don't even think we've played our best defense yet. That's just, that makes us scary. So we're just continuously trying to progress, but our defense is always going to be our anchor. And when you have a team that cares about defense, that's what makes up a championship team. We can score, we can do all these things, but if we can't get stops, you don't win a game. Thank you, Grant.
Tom, it's good to see you.
Wayne?
You said it last year, that speech in that locker room, when you came in, you're in business, walking the ball, talking. Even though you're going forward, just get a sweep. What does this mean to you?
Oh, Lord Jesus, thank you, Jesus. This is a really hard place to play, and I don't think people realize how Seattle is probably the hardest arena to play in with the fan base that they have that shows up. This city loves this team, and it is really cool to play in this type of atmosphere. But to be able to take 2 wins away from a really good organization and in a place that we've never won before, that gets the flow, right? And so we're saying we're not perfect, but we're still getting wins even when we're not perfect. So it just makes you buy into the process even more of like, okay, we see glimpses of where we're great, but how do we consistently put them glimpses together now? So this is 2 really big wins. We got another game ahead of us in Indy with a really good Indiana team that is playing phenomenal. A rookie in Boston who is just hooping. That baby is hooping, which is really cool to see, but it's going to be a really good test for us of where we are right now.
You talk about the less practice time, but you get better for games. I saw on shooter yesterday, the system of the camaraderie.
Yeah.
Like even when you have adversity, y'all are so close.
Mhm.
How does that system bond and love make those adversity time that much better so you can come up on top of it?
Because when you're a family, you're able to call each other out, but know that it's coming from a very loving place. And it's not on no fake shit. Like, we love each other off the court. I'll do anything for any one of my teammates off the court. If they call at 3 a.m., I'm coming wherever you are. And when you know that your teammates have your back off the court, that translates to I have your back on the court, but we need to be able to have a real discussion about what's not working right now. And so I think that's our biggest attribute right now is that we do love each other. And so we're able to give criticism and not take offense to it and go into defense mode. We're just like, okay, let's be better for each other.
And that's what we charge. Mystics fans traveled out here. It was young ladies in cloud jerseys.
Yes, I love
it. Again, just as a person, not even players, to know that you are loved, that people are traveling miles to see you.
It's crazy.
Have your jersey. What does that kind of mean for the top to play?
That's everything to me. I still don't ever take seeing my jersey for granted. I don't ever take these fans for granted, whether it's our fans traveling, which this is a long flight for them to come out and support. And it means the world to us. It means the world to this team to look into a literally sea of green and yellow and to still see some red, white, and blue, some Mystics colors. I heard them yelling, trying to yell over the crowd. Like, that's real love. And so very appreciative of it. A lot of gratitude to everyone that has supported me through my career, but I'm still, the little girl in me that is everything that I ever dreamed. So I take that responsibility that's a real responsibility for me, is to be a role model. So I really do appreciate all of our fans.
Can we do a drip can now?
Okay, do you feel me? But they don't want to take pictures here in Seattle. DC, we give a green flag to the opposing team. Not using my outfits no more on the road. Shoot.
And lastly, to Tyler.
What's that, Ty?
Hey, Tosh, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. I have a question about guard need possession. The offense just kind of needs to sometimes calm down and
Mhm.
sets. As a point guard, what kind of goes through your head of what you need to do for your job to make sure that the essence of calm is being passed on to everyone else on the floor?
That was something that I think the crowd kind of affected our poise at points tonight. And for me, it is just remaining calm. It is my body language. It's how I come into huddles. It's how we huddle up at free throw lines, how I orchestrate. But when we haven't gotten a good possession in a few, times up and down the court, for me, it's really just going to, looking around what players I have on the floor and what is a go-to set for our scorers on the floor at that point. Tonight, I was looking for myself a little bit more with my hand being a little bit hot. But when it came down the stretch, we need to be better in just the actions that we want to execute. And I thought, like you said, we were a little bit rushed, and that I attribute that to the crowd. This is probably the first time we played all season in a crowd of 15,000. And that atmosphere, it's really cool to play in, but it's very easy to speed you up and take you out of what you want to do. So I think we did a really good job down the stretch, though, of like catching when we were not poised. And at one of our timeouts, we were literally all were like, yo, we need to calm the fuck down. Like, it's okay. Like, everyone take a breath. We're good, but we need to finish we need to finish this last 2 minutes, and that's in our control. So for me, it's just really my body language, my demeanor, breathing confidence into my teammates, and then obviously getting us in a set that we can execute and get a score.
Perfect. I ask about what does she bring the member of this organization when she's put into the spot like that?
Sorry, can you say that first part again? It broke up a little bit.
Yeah, for Tianna, what
yes.
does she bring when she's thrust into the spot that she was tonight?
Man, Tianna, I'm so proud of how Tianna's come into this season. She has her body in the best shape that it's ever been. Her skill set is probably the best that it's ever been. She's a vet that just understands how we play, understands spacing and timing. She goes hard every single time that she's on the court. You're literally going to see her bust her ass on defense, try to get a rebound. Once the ball gets outletted, she's going to rim run as hard as she can. And she just does all the little things that might not necessarily show up on a box score, but because she does them, we are better. So Tianna, I went up to her the day after the game and I told her, I'm proud of you, like to be able to step up in the time of us needing. And not just only Tianna, I think Shatori did it today. Aisha is kind of getting her feel back, but everyone really did step up in Elena's absence, but especially Tianna to be able to start and us not feel like we lost anything on offense. That's a huge attribute to how much she's prepared for this moment.
Thank you, Tosh. Safe travels.
Thank you.
That's it, Tosh. Thank you.
I appreciate